a nice view of a golf course. What's going on, YouTube fam? Do me a favor before we get going here. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit all the damn buttons except the on like. Don't hit that one. Do me that solid and subscribe. I'm just doing a quick run to the store. Actually pretty excited because I just got a pretty cool new job offer. So, you know, times are changing. And I'm not going to discuss those particulars on here, but it's a pretty good day today. So, yep, I actually wanted to talk because I was watching the news this morning and they were talking about Harley Davidson. Regardless of what any sport biker is going to tell you, or any, you know, Ducatista, Harley is the dominant brand in motorcycling in America. Yes, their market share has gone down a bit, but check out these numbers from these are from the AMA, the American Motorcycle Association. Over 55% of all motorcycles registered in the United States are Harley Davidsons. And also, 51% of all new bikes purchased are Harley Davidsons. So, in all honesty, I don't want to hear the whole Harley's dead, whatever argument, you know. Harley will always be Harley. Yes, their market share has gone down a bit because of the changing demographics, but I think they're adjusting properly. I think they're doing the right things in order to fix that situation. Let's roll the intro and we'll keep going, but hit subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, damn it. Alright, so right off the bat, I want to say yes, I own a Harley Davidson, and I'm a big fan of Harley Davidson, but I am not a Harley Davidson brand snob. I love all motorcycles. My next motorcycle, I can almost, well, I'll talk about that here in a minute, but I'm pretty sure it won't be a Harley Davidson. I love my Harley, I like Harley, but Harley Davidson is not the end-all be-all for me. Having said all that, the chatter, the talking point over the last couple of years has been, oh, are millennials killing Harley? I don't think millennials are killing Harley. I think Harley kind of killed themselves with millennials by not updating their product line. Harley's been very stagnant when it comes to new products, you know, over the past, you know, couple decades. They killed the Dyna line, which was their coolest line. Had a cult following and they killed it. But, you know, they kept the Sportster line, they kept the Softail line, and now they have their Touring line. But now they're going to start branching out into some other places, which I think is absolutely the right move. They got to expand their market share. They got to expand their customer base if they want to increase their market share. Because if they just keep going after the, you know, boomers,
okay, boom, you're a boom,
then eventually their whole demographic's gonna die off. I do think the Softail line and the Sportster line are good for beginners and for, you know, young people, but it's the image. The image of Harley Davidson is one where old men with gray beards, you know, are riding them full of tassels and all kinds of shit. What the hell is going on over there? Now, make no mistake about it. If Harley Davidson stopped making motorcycles, they would absolutely survive as a lifestyle brand. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Harley is one of the most recognizable brands in America. And, you know, they do all kinds of licensing deals and t-shirts and boots and lifestyle apparel and motorcycle gear. They can sell anything. I'll try to find a shady spot. Oh shit, is that a dirt bike? What is that? It's a cool looking dirt bike. Alright, so there we go, shady spot. Harley would absolutely 1000% survive as just a lifestyle brand. There's no question about that. I mean, their brand recognition has to be one of the best in the country. If not the, well, no, it's not the best, but it's one of the best in the country. So, you know, if they stopped making motorcycles, they would 1000% survive. But their bread and butter is motorcycles. So it only makes sense that they're actually trying to expand that base and expand the product line, which is, I think, freaking awesome. I'm actually waiting for, I'll talk about my next bike here in a minute, but actually, yeah, let me run in there. We'll be right back. Alright, let's go get some dead dinosaurs and then we'll get back. So I was specifically talking about the future of Harley. What Harley's doing to, I want to say combat the perception that they're an old dying company. The main thing they're doing a lot of little things, like their social media efforts have picked up, etc, etc, etc. They're sponsoring younger riders. Harley, you know, if you want to sponsor me, hook it up, holla. You know, they're doing things like that, but they are coming out starting in 2020. Well, actually, they already started in 2019 with the Livewire, but they're coming out with three new, actually a lot more. They're coming out with new vehicles. So their biggest thing is the electric vehicle market that they're hitting up. They're using the Livewire as kind of a barrier to entry into that market segment. From all accounts, it's been very successful. The problem with the Livewire has been the price point. You compare it to the Zero, and you know, there's just really no friggin' comparison as far as value for the money. And the $30,000 price point is ridiculous, and that's pretty much, I think that's mainly what's killed Harley. I don't think it's so much their models, I think it's their price points. They have, except for the street line, the bottom of the rung Sportster, it's about $8,000. You know, you can get an R6 for $8,000. So what's better value for the money there, you know? But anyway, so they're coming out with a whole gamut of these bicycle, urban usage electric vehicles, which is kind of cool. You know, maybe people in the city will get those and become a Harley bicyclist. So yeah, the Livewire's been, so far as I know, pretty successful. Other models are coming out with its three main ones. First one is the Pan America, which is Harley's answer to the adventure touring market. It looks rather cool. It looks like an adventure touring bike. Their main competition here, I believe, is going to be Honda and BMW. They're huge in adventure touring. We'll see. Remains to be seen if they can actually compete. And I think the main thing, as I just said, with these three new bikes is going to be their price point. You know, if they take the Pan America and they price it, $5,000 or $10,000 above the Honda Africa Twin, it's never going to succeed. People are going to buy the Africa Twin 10 times out of 10, you know? But it's got to be properly priced. The most detail that I have, I'll actually go over at the last bike. Another bike that's actually due for release in 2021 is what they're calling the Future 1200 Custom, some shit like that. They don't actually have a name for it yet. It looks really freaking cool. It looks like a cafe racer or a scrambler almost. Yeah, it looks more like a scrambler. It's got the high up exhaust. You know, I think it's really cool looking, and that should be out 2021. There's no specs out. There's only a couple photos out for it. It's just a concept at this point. Let me get gas and be right back.
1 minute 37 seconds later.
All right, where were we? So yeah, the XL Custom, XL 1200 Custom, whatever it is they're naming it, they don't really have a name for it. That's due to come out 2021. It looks like a cafe racer. It's actually really, really, really cool looking. I really like it. It has a lot of potential, I think, if they actually follow through with it. Harley doesn't always follow through on their concepts. If you'll remember, actually the Livewire took a while. I think they actually released the Livewire, or it was due for release, I want to say in 2017, maybe 2016, and they canceled it. It got delayed, all kinds of things going on around it, and eventually they just released it again for the 2020 model year. So for the 2021 model year, they're going to release the Pan America. For the 2022 model year, which is actually in 2021, they'll release hopefully the XL 1200 Custom, or whatever the heck it is they end up calling it. And also for the 2021 model year, which is later this year, I think Harley has the biggest potential to make a dent with this bike. It's the Harley Bronx. It's a naked sports bike, and it's going to be a leader bike. It's a 975cc engine, V-twin, you know, so that's going to compete with the higher echelons like the Triumph Speed Triple, the Honda CB1000R, the Yamaha MT-10. So I think that's a really exciting bike. Actually, so my next bike is probably going to be a naked sports bike, and one of the main reasons I've been delaying the process of getting it is because I actually want to test drive the Harley Bronx. I want to see what that's going to be like, and once I test drive all these bikes, you know, I'll pull the trigger on the bike eventually. Wow, the ventilation on this helmet is ridiculously awesome. Once I end up pulling the trigger, you know, I might end up with a Harley Davidson sports bike, their first ever. But, you know, again, right now, according to topspeed.com, it's slotted to come in at around $15,000, which is a little bit higher than the competition. So the price point is going to be real key here, because there's a lot of competition in this segment, in this market. So at $15,000, I'm not sure the bike's going to be able to compete, especially when you consider it's actually got less horsepower than its competitors, than the CB 1000R, than the Speed Triple, than the MT10. As far as we know right now, it's got less horsepower, less torque, and a higher price point. So, you know, sport bikers really pay attention to that stuff, the horsepower, the torque, the specs of the bike. So if it comes in at $15,000, I'm not sure how successful it's gonna be. The bike looks freaking badass. I think this bike looks amazing. Now, the two best looking naked sports bikes for my money are the MT10 and the Speed Triple from Triumph. The MT10 is from Yamaha. But this Harley Davidson Bronx looks pretty freaking badass. And, you know, this Harley's coming out with this new engine. I don't know what they're calling it. I think I heard something about Revolution engine. I don't know. So the engine right now is going to have two variants. It's a smaller engine than the Milwaukee 8. They're not going to throw this engine on the cruisers, but it's got a 975 variant for the Bronx, and it's got a 1250 variant for the Pan America. If they end up throwing the 1250 variant on the Bronx, that thing should fly. You know, granted, they're probably gonna have a conversion kit. So yeah, if you get that mod done to the Bronx, it's probably gonna fly like pretty freaking awesomely. There's a lot of differences between the cruiser bikes and the sport bikes, so it's gonna be very interesting to see how Harley breaches those differences. I'm surely very interested to see it. So interested, in fact, that I'm delaying getting my next bike, because I want to see what that thing is going to be like. I want to test drive it. I want to consider it as my next bike. But right now, the MT10 is the front runner. But we'll see. Alright, Dale. That's it. Ride safe.